What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to go through Port Adelaide's top 5 highlights of 2018. Now these ones are a little bit left field than what you'd think. They're not going to be your stock standard best moments in a game or your top 5 goals or marks. These ones are highlights, like specific moments that happened during the year that I thought were very nice indeed. So I've done my list management for the year, done the season review. Now it's time to have some fun and go through the highlights of this year. Without further ado, let's get into the top 5 highlights of 2018. Number 5, Ken Hinkley in a panda suit. As we know, the MND fundraiser that happened at the MCG earlier in the year, all 18 coaches went down on the big slide, the big free slide that happened, and they're all dressed up amazingly well, and now our very own Ken Hinkley went as a Port Adelaide panda. By all means, it wasn't the greatest spectacle in the world, but it was definitely for a good cause. So a little congratulations to Ken Hinkley, and he looked mighty fine in a panda suit. Number 4, we're going to get a little bit sentimental here. Todd Marshall's applause round, I think it was 13 or 12, against the Western Bulldogs on Thursday night at the 13th minute mark. The whole crowd that was at the game stood and applauded Todd Marshall for his return to footy.
So here's the clap for young Todd Marshall. This is the clap for the youngster coming back into the team tonight. What a lovely touch. And that is a lovely touch as well from the Western Bulldogs. Neil Danaher here tonight. He would appreciate that.
And obviously for his passing of his 2 parents over the course of the last couple of years. For us to give him that support throughout that minute of applause, and Pollock to kick that goal in that time as well, was certainly a highlight of 2018. Number 3. Alright, we're getting back onto the lighter side here. We had a few games that were in the cold, and it was certainly not the warmest of days down in Ballarat, but a certain thing, a certain appliance made his debut that day, and certainly it was one not to forget. The Port Adelaide microwave, who was seen multiple times for the rest of the season after that. We did have quite a few cold games throughout the year, but that microwave, I tell you what, he went through a lot of hard yards, and if Port Adelaide wanted to return it with a warranty, they sure could, because it got a lot of use out of that one. So look forward to seeing him making a few more appearances as well. He certainly was best on ground that day, and I reckon he's going to be a little fighter on the field, definitely. Number 2, Super June. Now, we went into this year with a fixture that was quite unpredictable in a sense. We started really well. Our middle part of the year was kind of poor. We still ended up winning games, and then we got to Super June, which was basically Friday night footy against the Tigers, Thursday night footy against the Bulldogs, and Friday night footy against the Demons. And we won all 3, which is certainly why I put it so high, because it was definitely a pick of the bunch of games that we had in the year, and I reckon we set our sights on those 3 games at the start when we first got the fixture, and for us to come out with all 3 wins, certainly at the time set our season up really well. And as we know now that I'm talking to you about highlights of the year when the rest of the mob are playing finals still, Melbourne are still in there, the Richmond are still in there. So, no, it was still highlights nonetheless. Plus we got wins. I mean, the Richmond game against the reigning premiers, highlight. The Bulldogs game, it was cold, it was windy, it was kind of wet, still got the job done, smashed them. And the Melbourne Demons, well, they were rattled in the end because we ran over the top of them, and it was definitely a highlight of the year, the Melbourne game, that's for sure. But Super June, definitely one of the highlights of 2018. Number 1. Now, I don't know about you, but this little thing that happened, round 8, it wasn't really a big moment, I didn't think. It was not much of a highlight of the... Who am I kidding? We bet the Crows. We broke the showdown drought.
Flashpoint, Stevie Mobler, what a time! Oh! He is floating on air now!
It was sensational. Port home game, 50-odd thousand people. We'd lost the last 5 showdowns, and Ken Hinkley going 5-0 was an absolute treat. And Motlop, all I could say is what a time to be alive in that situation, because Stevie Motlop sunk the Crows. And don't mind me as well, you know, the fact that Robbie Gray kicked 6 goals, 5 of them in the quarter, and was best on ground.
Here we go for 5 in a quarter. Robbie! Let him entertain you!
Dominated both showdowns throughout the year, and he's just an all-out star. So that's definitely going to be the biggest highlight of 2018, because wasn't many in the end, but to get a one over the Crows, even though they won the second one, it was certainly one that we won't forget as Port fans, and makes this season a little bit less painful as we go into the off season for a big pre-season. They are your top 5 highlights of 2018. Give us your thoughts on those highlights and what you thought were other highlights throughout the year as well. Special mentions, obviously I'm going to mention Robbie Gray. He had a sensational year. Tom Jonas, Justin Westhoff, all these types of players that had breakout seasons. You know, some of the youngsters, Jared Leonard as well, Kane Farrell, Billy Frampton getting his debut. They were definitely part of the highlights, but these ones stood out to me, and I thought, let's make a cheeky video of them. Thank you very much for watching these highlights. Let me know what you think in the comments below about, and what are your highlights for 2018. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Plenty more Port Adelaide content coming your way over the pre-season as we build for a massive 2019. List management video is out now, check that out. Also the season review of 2018. Click on the links after the video has ended. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, Port fans. My name's Anthony, and as always, come back.